as someone who is a Hello, everybody! Welcome to yet another episode of the Galavants through Rashiva.
Hey, hi guys. How you going?
Hello!
Today I'm eating
Hello,
lamb
stream.
and rice.
Nice.
Of
What
course,
about rice?
Diamond tomorrow, boy. Where's the link?
Oh, right.
Yeah. And actually, Fox, if you could do the honors of spreading the word around as you usually do.
I will. Give me one moment to fix my mistake.
For investigations limited.
Mistake? What are you, human?
Goodness
Actually,
gracious.
I am the furthest thing from human you will ever get, honey.
Are,
Dang.
are you? What are you? Human? Unfortunately.
Are you flirting with me?
No, are you human?
Only if you want me to be.
God
I don't.
damn it.
That's fair. It's harsh, but it's fair. I'll cry myself to sleep only a little bit more than usual tonight.
Is today going to be the day where we finally officially unveil Squibble's character?
I hope so, because I don't.
Yes, because I'm going to actually find people's houses and begin the flaying if we do not.
You're gonna peel knees?
I mean, you are a peeler, Kobold. I'll just steal a peeler from you.
I will turn your kneecaps into a red mist.
Joke's on you, I own the kneecaps. I coined kneecaps, the Kobold.
Joke's on you, I don't have kneecaps.
Oh.
The only way to really up kneecap peeling, honestly, is peeling a dick like a banana.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
No,
moving on.
no,
Let's begin.
no. Yes, please.
What we doing, buddy?
So, for this, I had already had this pretty much planned out, is that in order to alleviate any waiting for a character to arrive, we're just going to be placing the perspective almost immediately on the new character. I will let you guys state if any of you wants to do the session recap. We'll do that. We'll let you guys figure out what you're doing, and then we'll be taking the perspective of our new character.
Oh, jeez.
Right, that way we just get to things all forthwith, forthright, right off the bat. No dilly-dally dawdling.
Putting a lot of pressure on me here, boss.
On the sick of our shit.
So,
Yes.
Can I?
Sounded like someone just loaded a gun. I don't know what that snapping sound was in the mic, but it sounded like someone just put a mag in a weapon.
that was my hand.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. If it was, would you be afraid?
I mean, that's some powerful finger guns you got there, then.
Full auto.
The heavy taunt kill.
Alright, anyways. Koga, you were very excited to do the recap, so please, do the honors.
Okay, last time on Galavants of Rashiva, the party has finally met the Hammer Lord in all his dead daughter gloriousness, and learned the nature of the case. Specifically, it's believed that his daughter has been murdered. And by his own words, he believes it to be of a follower of an ancient goddess of assassination. Something that shouldn't be possible with how long dead her followers must have been. After much debate between the party members on how to go about making sure or investigating this case, eventually Mara prayed to her goddess, the goddess of death, in order to see what details she could dream about the murder thing. And well, her prayer was answered. And she learned that the Lord Forge Master was in fact correct. She was betrayed by a close companion masquerading as a high guard. We managed to dream both the face, details, and other aspects of the murderer. And now all we have to do is find out, well, where he is, what he's doing, and stuff like that. I think that was most of the recap.
Yep, I believe that accounts
Yeah, I feel
for
like that.
everything that occurred.
And now we return to this thing that we're doing.
Right.
Starting off with new players.
My microphone
New
swiveled way.
character.
There we go.
All right.
The spotlight changes.
So, for you, our new character, this is a land of much promise to you. As you had been led and guided, this would be an answer to one of your long-standing questions, is how to perfect the manners of developing high-precision metalworking. It's a question that you've kind of been dealing with for a while, the frustrations thereof, learning even spells that would allow you to use such techniques once you've learned them. With you are your selected inventions, your chosen items to show off to both potential investors and potential buyers alike whom might be interested in your workmanship. Now, you had also heard that there was a group of up-and-coming heroes that had passed through. Such folk might be of use to you, not only in your goals, but in assisting you in spreading your own name around. After all, you can only reach the greatness that you have when word of mouth starts talking about you. So, you had heard that they had headed towards the Fortress Castle, the home of the Dwarven Hammerlord. What you doing? Presented with this city of stone, of fine mural workmanship.
Hmm. Give me 1 second.
Well, that was 1 second.
You know, one of these days, I'm gonna smite you for that joke.
You may try.
Very funny
You are
original
putting the
joke.
past by 1
Sorry,
second.
I had to type something up and I cannot multitask typing and speaking at the same time.
That's normal.
Same.
Well, I mean, I suppose I'm just keeping an eye out for this band of goofballs. I trying to get as close as I can. Because I mean they're all in the castle, or they were all in like the castle area. I don't know how welcome I'm gonna be in there, so I'm trying to get as close as I can to meet this band of misfits.
Alright, so real quick then, we'll flash back to the rest of the group. What is it you all are planning? You had had your audience with the Hammerlord, you had asked at least your basic series of questions, and had found a private space to seek this vision through use of Mara's enchanted sword and her connection with the goddess of death, Ophelia. Val had, of course, stepped out as he didn't wish to be right there when direct speaking with the goddess that happens to have beef with him. Is right there listening.
First and foremost, let's call Val back in.
Okay.
No, we
If
have
he's
to
still
pull
running
him
the
back in because the spell's like that. Val.
Val fucked off. Like you guys saw him summon.
Oh yeah,
Polaris,
no,
and
he went to church,
He
didn't
left.
he?
Yeah, he
His
went to
ass is
church.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Gavin speaks up. So, here's a question. Do we want to go about apprehending this individual with the king's plan, or do we want to do it beforehand, faster, more efficiently, less risk to him at least?
I do think we should, at the very least, inform him what we know of the killer before we go off and do any plan. And that's in case we fail. Having him on alert and knowing what they're like should be good.
I think the biggest question will be, would he believe us? Because all we have is, what Mara saw.
Which is a lot more than what he has currently.
But it's not enough to convince someone
it
who...
might not be enough. We would likely need some hard evidence alongside with what Mara saw in order to fully convince him that the person that Mara saw and the person that, we have drawn out right here was indeed the person.
Could Mara simply not lend him the sword so he may see it for himself?
I don't know.
But we're just, even regardless, he believes him to be a follower of the assassin goddess. And if we suddenly come up and tell him that he was right despite our, earlier doubts, I don't see why he wouldn't believe us.
It
In
might
fact,
have something to do with
he's
the
the
fact
one
that it's one of
that-
the members of his guard who was trusted enough to be close to his daughter.
That's
Right,
why I
but-
said we would likely also need the hard proof. Is because it was
Okay.
someone that was close to him.
We have two ways right now of three ways of achieving hard proof. One is taking him somewhere without telling anyone and forcing a confession out of him. Another is somehow find some sort of physical evidence that he may have left about by stalking him. Another is to put the king and many other people at risk with the king's plan. Because maybe, just maybe, this individual will be imposed to break character in the middle of a large party, outing himself for an opportunity to kill someone. A person who's been trying to be secret.
If they're pretending to be a guard and his entire plan hinges on having his guard protect people, that's a recipe for disaster.
Not only that,
Because he's already in the ranks.
he's already in the ranks, and he's not going to out himself at the party. That's the problem. Unless the entire guard is somehow the cult, which I highly doubt.
Right, but again, I know we just went through this, but hear me out. Jesus sent us to go and find proof of the killer, and for all he knows, we have no way of knowing or accusing anyone, but suddenly we just return with a vision from, well, not the goddess directly, but from our medical item. If we suddenly start listing off not only the details of the killer, but who it is, I mean, I would probably believe you, because why would you have that much information on someone otherwise?
Hey, I just thought of something. He's a guard. A king's guard. He would know of the king's plan.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
And to answer your question, Gideon, well... And there's the player's
Like,
brain
when-
going completely out the door and forgetting what was said. Mid-sentence.
Right. It's not like we're just pointing at a random person and going, oh yeah, they get it. We're literally listing off not only the details of who it is, but how they did it and where they were.
The question
That's
is
a lot of
emotional bond.
evidence that would
All right,
defeat us.
guys, I will ask you to please remember to make time for new character to come in. Just saying.
Right, I don't. Yeah. I do think we should probably get Val back before we discuss this further.
Yeah.
I do as
Um,
well. Though I will say, personally, stalking is a bit of an. Of a, stalking is the quietest way to do it, and it's the one that has the. It's the method of the two proven methods to have less of a return, because someone like that, they're not likely to leave physical proof around somewhere. I'm all for forcing a confession.
Indeed. However, we should probably also make sure we get Val in, so so that he's aware of what's going on. So
I do have Zone of Truth.
zone of truth, yes. However, we should, as said, we should also make sure we have Val in the know, so that he's aware of what's going on. Because Val, as of right now, he has no idea what we saw and what we're thinking about all this. So let's go grab Val.
I'm gonna go to church.
Yep, because that's where he went.
Gavin will drop the private sanctum and start making his way to the church.
And
All right, so you guys are going to get Val wherever he had gone.
yep.
Okay. Okay, alrighty. Which means that you will be leaving the gates of the fortress castle. Upon exiting, there is a most curious sight that waits very near the city gates. As they open for you, and as the guardsmen allow you to exit the well-defended grounds, there is a cart with what appears to be a strange shaped block of steel fastened to the cart by reins and harnesses. Puffs of perhaps smoke emanate from a long cylinder that rises up from the shaped hunk of metal, and sitting upon it with a pair of with a spyglass and kind of perhaps actually we shall allow your said character to describe and to determine what you are doing. So take us away.
Okay. At the front of this carriage, which does not seem to have any sort of horse, you see a very small character taking a seat. You can notice immediately upon looking that this is a female goblin. She's dressed in overalls with big work boots and long gloves, and she has a book open and she is scratching some notes down in it. She keeps glancing up and looking around every once in a while. And then she finally spots you guys. And upon seeing you, she seems to get an excited look on her face. And she lifts her hand and waves at you guys.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
Well, we might as well go see what she wants. Real quick.
Mara marches.
Andy, where?
Go ahead, Mara. You began talking, so keep going.
All right. Yeah, Mara is going to march right up to Goblin. Put a hand up, wave. Hi.
Hi there! I think you guys are the ones I'm looking for. You look very different from everyone else around here. No, no offense intended.
Oh, thank you.
To be fair, only one of us is a dwarf, so
I've been looking for you guys. It's good to finally meet you. Heard all about you guys going around and doing cool things and going on adventures and stuff.
Yeah. Real cool.
Well, you seem to know who we are. Possibly. What are our names?
Names. I don't know. But I heard about adventurers, and I heard they were coming this way, and you guys look like adventurers, and you're here. So I think I heard something about a king with you guys, but I mean I don't see any kingly looking person with you, but
Oh, he's at church.
oh, okay. So there is one more of you guys.
Yep,
Excellent.
we were going right to go get him.
Well, my name. My name is Zerzan Veldzat. I was called Greasetooth before I left or was kicked out of my clan. But if that's too much for you, then you can simply call me Z. That seems to be a lot easier for most people to pronounce. But whatever you're doing, I want to help.
Gavin looks up and down this
Mostly
little
down.
goblin.
Mostly down.
And her
Goblins are like kobolds; they're
Her-
quite short.
her
Like
horseless
3 feet
carriage. Definitely not a car. It's just a horseless carriage.
I mean, in this
her-
case, literally.
Her overalls, her mechanic's boots, and everything. You're a mechanic, aren't you?
I'm much more than that.
Gavin looks over to Barrick and gives a very, very sly grin. We're not very technologically versed ourselves, but we do have a situation going on with ourselves that we really can't talk about at the moment that does need the hand of a mechanic, possibly.
Oh, really?
You'll find machines that you won't even believe.
You can practically see her eyes like glimmer at that thought.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick test of, well, not a test of one, but a quick look at one here. And Gavin will pull out not any of the actual, items, whatnot from the stuff, but he'll pull out his own antediluvian dynamo. I found this a long time ago. It seems to be of similar technology to the stuff that we found. I figured out a couple of ways to operate it. Maybe you can think of a couple of more. And I hand it over.
What does this thing you handed her look like?
Yeah.
And antediluvian. It looks kind of like a little bit of a Tesla coil attached to a weird contraption, but it's like really, really small. Looks like it would go to power something. Possibly. Maybe. I wouldn't flip any of the switches on it here, though. Again, I figured this one out with a little bit of trial and error. Not how it works, but what it does. Are you aware of the spells Lightning Bolt and Fireball?
Are those spells I would be familiar with as an artificer?
Say again? Which spells would those be?
Lightning Bolt and Fireball.
I believe those would, of course, be spells you'd have access to. As to whether or not you have them, on the other hand, that would be determined by yourself.
Okay, I would need to.
To be fair, those are two very I would assume, well-known spells.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would know about them, but I just didn't know if they were something I could cast, and I don't know what that has. I don't know if that'll have any effect on whether or not I know anything about this. Although I could probably. Can I roll an Arcana check?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
about to. I will
Okay.
say base artificer spells do not base artificers do not have access to either of those spells unless you go through subclasses, maybe.
And as well, just for everyone's sake, our player here, Shaliria, is not too intimately familiar with 5e specifically as we play in, so just, lend a helping hand where possible.
Okay, I rolled a 15 on that Arcana check.
Excellent. You would indeed recognize the spells and at least understand their operations. You'd be able to discern as well what this item does.
Yes. This device, while it might not be directly meant originally for this purpose, can replicate those effects rather closely.
Interesting.
Perhaps a little bit of experimentation with that later might produce some interesting results.
Indeed. I would be happy to look at any interesting little devices, machines, what have you. This is very interesting indeed.
But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We have another individual that we must go and retrieve. We're dealing with a little bit of a. I wouldn't call this an international crisis yet, but this is definitely a national crisis.
Ooh, interesting. If you wouldn't mind me coming along to help, I can show you some very cool things. I have a lot of very cool things.
Gavin looks to everyone else. And Gavin's got like a glint in his eye. The big brain stuff is he's seeing the big brainness going on. He likes more big brain.
I mean, I personally would be down because, personally, I'd always like to learn new things, and exchange of knowledge is always nice. So I'd be fine with her coming along.
Well, perfect then. Thank you guys so much. I won't let you regret this. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean.
well, I'll hold you to that. Don't let us regret it.
Hello, Devil Story, and welcome to the stream. I don't know anything
Okay,
about this
so
hack right
if we're
person.
going, then let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
She would
Yeah.
hop on her little cart, which, by the way, is
I
not
hope you enjoy.
very large at all. There's like one spot for her to operate, and the rest of the room in the back is entirely occupied by some strange looking thing, by some sort of machine. However, this cart is not particularly big in the first place. If that thing wasn't in the back, you would really only be able to fit one, maybe two people back there. So this cart is just big enough for her to carry this thing around.
The suitor scooter, Koga, no. Somehow I think that Mara will still find a way to get back there, all scrunched up or whatnot. Like a cat.
She just folds herself down.
See, Mara doesn't operate with our known physics. Mara is actually a liquid.
Like a cat.
Oh man.
That is also a very suitable image for the dynamo, actually. Nice. I like that. All right, to church. Let's go talk to God. Which one? Yes.
Off we go.
Ooh.
Let's go.
We just walk into the church. Hey Val, we found something. Actually, it'd be more accurate to say it found us. Oh no.
I'm imagining you say that and Gideon just like pulls me out of his pocket and just holds me out. Look, can we keep it?
Grab my top of head, lift up.
just pulls her out of the bag of holding. Hey, I found something.
Oh boy. All right, we will quickly zip flash over to indeed King Val, who is in church. Which church would you have sought out? The Church of Thestalos, one of the many libraries.
I think it was probably life.
Yeah, I think I had specifically said that I was going back to the Church of Life.
Okay. So you find yourselves in its venerable halls, the very humble exterior, and indeed the beautiful yet humble interior also. It's a calming warmth around you. Here it feels like you could rest easy. That whatever life's troubles may hold, they're easier to bear within these halls.
Lost my mouse. Val isn't here like he was last time. He's here simply to, again, just pray. Actually, I have a question I gotta ask you, Lana.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, go for it. Go for it.
It's gonna be a DM message.
DM the DM?
Indeed. It do be like that.
DM squared?
Dem, dem, dem.
Ha!
I know my comedic genius is just on a level that you mortals can't comprehend. I frighten myself with my genius sometimes.
Your mistake was thinking that I'm mortal.
Your brains aren't wrinkled enough to understand my humor. You're not a Rick and Morty fan.
I heard Rick and Morty, but I wasn't paying attention, so I appreciate the joke nonetheless.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. Not because I don't understand it, but because I don't like it.
So with that, Lana, with that knowledge being given, and if math serves me correctly, Val will have donated, not only will be here in prayer, but will have donated 30 gold to the church.
Okay. Okay. Pretty sizable donation there.
That's about a chunk.
It's most of my money. It's actually pretty much all of my money. I have 2 gold to my name now.
I mean, that's still about $200, so, you know.
You're the king.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
steal
pocket
from the
change.
treasury.
Yoink.
Anyways, And I'll get into the thematics of that if it comes up. But Lana, you could probably put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, that's all Val will have done at the churches. When the party arrives, if they come inside, they will just see that he is currently praying at one of the altars or up at the pedestal, or however prayer is done here.
Okay. Are you speaking to anyone specific? Or you saying anything specific as you...
No, it's a silent prayer. I'm mostly inner monologuing to myself of a silent prayer.
Okay. Then you remain indeed in silence. And I'll have you roll for perception. Yeah.
Oh god. Fuck!
Like the
My
way you
dice are
said that,
prepared.
Lana.
I got everything else prepared except for my dice tray because I'm a
Is
goon!
this Is that
Good job.
perception to notice us, or is that perception for something else?
Yes.
Find out.
We'll fucking find out.
Hmm.
Once Fox unburies their fucking shit.
Hmm.
I have so many sets of dice all sprawled out in front of me.
Oh, I usually do, but I'm a goon and I forgot.
How many sets do you have? Have or 9 or 10?
I've lost. I don't have that many.
You notice
Currently-
Gavin's sitting right down next to you. You better roll a 24 because that's my passive stealth.
You said
Currently,
perception, right, Lana?
Indeed.
Okay, just wanted to double check. Ooh, nice. That'll be math is hard.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Math is hard. 19.
As you sit there in silent prayer, as you enjoy this silence, you hear a small little just in front of you.
Hmm.
Val would look up to see where the sound's coming from or what is causing the sound.
There's a singular raven stood in front of you. Stately and proud as ever the corvids are. In its beak is held a small little parchment, just perfectly sized. It then lowers its beak and lets the small parchment settle upon the stone of the floor.
I pick it up, and I'm definitely sus of the bird.
Haha,
I
the
thought
bird.
you said you
Haha, the
picked up the
bird was
bird.
The bird was harmless, but the note eats you.
I could believe that.
The note was a mimic.
Oh, no. And that's it. That's campaign, guys. We all died.
Oh, golly. All right. Pipe down.
Yes, Dad.
So, as you open the note, which you find it is bound in a small purple thread, when you look at it, it reads, Val, devoted to the deities, prince and now king of your people. I am to be the goddess not just of death, but also of forgiveness. My husband, and indeed yourself, has reminded me that this is one of my tenets. In my anger upon your trespass of my domain, I did not consider this tenet of mine, and so I extend to you forgiveness. And at the bottom of this little page, there is a tiny sprig of olive. a little branch.
Make olive oil.
Ah, I feel it should be the other way around, but I will certainly not turn my nose up to this. And with that, I am going to pocket the note and the olive branch, and I have things I'm gonna have to do later, but that's for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, following this, you do hear the doors of the church open. And looking over your shoulder, there's your friends and party member. Turning around, you find that this raven has disappeared. Not even a sound of its wings fluttering.
Val, looking back at the spot where he did see the bird, he nods, and he definitely is making a note to himself that he is going to have to do things later. And he will go greet his party at the doors so they don't have to come all the way in to fetch him. Because he can only assume they're here to get him.
Good, because I don't think the church would appreciate me driving my car in here.
Probably not.
It's
a
just
pretty-
like a little.
that's a pretty
It's
good
just like a
description.
little clown car, but it's instead of being shaped like a clown car, it's like a 1950s Jeep. Just beep beep.
Okay, anyways.
It's one of the old style ones. It's got a crank.
Those were the cool ones, man.
Every time
Anyways.
you stop at the stoplight, you gotta get out and crank it up.
Hey guys. Glad you guys remembered where I was heading.
Hi, Val.
Hi, Mara. How was your chat with Ophelia?
It was good. We know who the murderer is.
Well, let's just say that
yeah,
out loud. Yes, let's
yeah.
do that.
Barry, as soon as she starts to saying that, I was like, shh,
Oh.
not here, not now.
Oh, okay. Okay. We know who our guy is.
There's like 50 other people there. They just all turn.
Let the rumor
we
mill begin.
also we also sort of picked up someone on the way.
Oh?
And
Why don't you treat yourself?
You see my short little head pop up and a hand extend and excitedly wave and say, "Hi there!"
Furrowing his eyebrows and extending his hand forward. Hi. Who are you?
My name is Zerzan Velza, but that's hard for a lot of people to say, so you can just call me Z. Or my clan used to call me Greasetooth before I was removed from them. So yeah, that's me. Hi.
Well, good to meet your acquaintance, Zerzan.
Yes.
What are you in?
Well, this is a little cart that I had designed and put together to carry around this thing that's back here. So, yeah, I built this.
Fascinating. I have thoughts and plans for you later, but now is not the time. I'm assuming since you're with everyone else that everyone approves of this?
yeah.
Seemed like it.
That's all I care
That's
about.
no problem.
Well, welcome to the team. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Let's
Find
let's find a quiet spot.
agreed,
Uh,
so that you may
so that we
inform
could
me.
fill you. Yeah, so we could fill you in. Away from, prying eyes and ears.
Hey Lana, perception check. How many prying eyes and ears are here now?
So, there is another priest that is stood there, kind of staring. There appears to be two women of this church that have, like one of them is still holding out a one of those long matches that has, in this time, burnt down almost to her fingers, and she goes like and drops it on the cobbles, and she's like, I promise, none of this will leave the halls. I'm very, very sorry for overhearing.
I apologize on my party's behalf, as we have been given requests to look into something. And with that, I pull out my last 2 gold coins and give it to her.
As the good Lord of Life is my witness, these words you have spoken shall be hallowed and held secret in these halls.
It is
Was
very
she-
much appreciated, sister.
The little thing that she had in her hands, the little lit thing, was it like a wick to light a candle or something?
I said it was a long match,
Yeah.
so it's basically spent now.
The word was.
Yes, the church made out of stones catches on fire, Koga.
It's super fire.
It's super fire.
Stranger things have happened.
Fire 2.0.
Fair.
You find out
Carrying
what
on.
the-
Moving on.
Stranger Things on Netflix.
Okay.
Ha!
So with that, yeah, Val gives his last 2 gold to the sister, for them to. It's like paying them to keep their silence, but also for the inconvenience of having them overheard that.
Mm-hmm. I follow you completely.
Yep, I'm glad you got it, Lana.
And yes, the ones present, they bow politely, and they do all agree that they will keep this amongst and between themselves.
With that being said, though, is there a part of the inner sanctum or somewhere here that we can use to have our private conversation?
There are some inner chambers, yes. You could borrow one of the writing offices.
That would be very much appreciated if we could do that.
Of course. What, right? And she kind of looks over to the actual priest, and he gives a dismissive wave, like, yeah, sure. And then she nods and indeed leads the way.
Mumbling along the way, Val's gonna be like, I kind of feel bad. I feel like I just bought my way in here, and I did not mean to do that.
Rip.
Like, ooh, oh, did I just bribe the church? Ooh.
I've
It'll be
bribed more
fine.
churches.
I try
don't
to
think-
not make a habit of it, Gavin.
This has
It was
got to
a
be a
while
very
ago.
strange.
It was a while ago. And in a different continent. For a different god.
Anyways, moving on. And we're having this conversation as we're being led to this room, by the way.
Yeah.
And I assume it doesn't take us long to get there.
No. Just like 4 or 5 minutes, and then she opens a solid wood door and leads you into a room. You've gone up about 2 flights of steps. It didn't take very long, and now you are in what appears very much to be a private room that is with a writing desk, plenty of paper, drying agents for inks, so on and so forth.
Okay. When the sister goes to leave, Val will give a bow and turn to the rest of his party afterwards and be like, I think this is about as private as we can get from anything.
Well, I can put up another private sanctum spell around this area if need be.
I don't think it's necessary. All right, what did you guys discover while I was away?
Well,
Oh, and Ophelia and I have somewhat made up to a degree. I still have to do my part.
Woo! And Mara
That's
immediately
good.
starts clapping.
Well, first things first, to catch up our newcomer, little Z here.
Little
So
Z.
the Hammer Lord, the king around these parts, his daughter seems to have been murdered by an ancient cult of goddess of murder,
Oh, heavens.
and we're going to, well, catch the culprit. The question is, how? We know who it is. Our resident Mara here happens to essentially be a chosen or priestess of the goddess of death.
A
So
champion.
there's a lot of words. They tend to mean the same thing. But anyway, they all. She gave her a vision, and she saw all the things, all the details, the murder, and everything. We know who it is. We don't have the name, but we have the description. We know where they work, what they look like, all that. And now we need to figure out what exactly we're going to do about it, because the king had a plan, and quite frankly, that plan, given who it is shite.
It's not a
Because
matter that it's necessarily shite, but from what I just gathered, that was new information to me, is that his
Uh,
plan is going to fail before it can even start.
Yep, because the person who killed, um, who did it, was seemed to be a member of the guard, or at least a member of the personal guard, and and somebody who worked closely with his daughter.
in fact, it's the one who called the guards, who supposedly found her body.
What was the Hammer Lord's plan?
To hold like a ball, a dinner, whatever, and have a bunch of
Festival.
high-profile people come in, and I guess the idea was if it was high-profile targets, a number of high-profile targets would be a bit too much to resist for the individual. Quite frankly, even not considering the fact that the murderer is one of the top guards there, the fact of the matter is that this is a member of a cult that has stayed secret for millennia, thought to be extinct. Why
Oh.
would they pop out and reveal themselves in the middle of a dinner? Why would they just out themselves? That's asking to be captured and killed and have their streak taken down.
That depends entirely on how safe they feel they are and how much they want to revel in the victory of their kill.
It's also
See
a
the
matter
logic.
of what their goal is. If they're just looking to make a name for themselves, a big fiasco like this wouldn't be a terrible plan.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good way to get the name of your god out.
And like the biggest problem would be is, um, since it is like they work for said goddess
Well, supposedly.
supposedly, um, finding the evidence to tie them to said murder.
Here's my thought process. If Mara could theoretically just give the Forge Master her sword, let him borrow it for a second, and just tell him what to look for, that would be like the easiest route.
Well,
Even if we couldn't do that, go ahead.
even if that worked, I mean, how would he know that it's an actual like real vision, not just an illusion or something?
He'd have to be taking our word. And
which
he has
is
an
what
emotional
he's doing.
The person who killed
Hear
his
me-
daughter also has an emotional contact with them. That's a big risk.
Well, listen. Hear me out. He's already trusting us to investigate this matter to begin with.
No,
We
he's
would
not.
have, well, yeah. We wouldn't have. How do I try to explain this? We would have no other way of knowing about the argument unless the illusion was true.
But there's no way to prove that, because the person that we are accusing, who we know did it, is the person who claims to have found the body.
Right. So, what? I know
with
there's
no other
emotional-
witnesses.
Right, but there's a bunch of talk. We know they had an argument, and by the looks of it, there was no one else around during that argument. No one who would be able to tell us that it happened to begin with. We would literally have to know that information we wouldn't be able to glean otherwise. Sort of makes it pretty obvious that we're telling the truth, or we have more information than we should.
Real quick question. It is the item that Mara has that let her have the vision, or was it directly her contact with the goddess of death?
Both.
Yeah. The sword lets her see visions of whatever word she chooses, but Ophelia specifically guided it.
Would the sword work for anyone else?
Find out.
Bad idea.
Zerzan will very politely sit there and raise her hand.
Yes, Greasetooth?
Does anyone here know how to cast the spell Zone of Truth? And if none of us do, can we find someone who does?
I know how to do that.
I'm pretty sure I can.
Because I mean, okay, I'm gonna recap what I've been picking up. You tell me if I'm right. You're looking for the guy who killed the Hammerlord's daughter, and you found out through a divine vision that it was a high-profile guard that the king trusts a lot, right?
Most likely. We're not entirely sure of his exact status, but yes.
Well,
At the very least, yeah. Go ahead.
would we? I'm sure you guys would be allowed to see him. I don't know if I would, but you could maybe ask him to summon that guard and then cast Zone of Truth on him and ask him right there in front of the king and get a confession right out of him right in front of the king.
Not even on just him, but on all of us. And we can all, as a group, say that this is what happened, this is what we believe, this is what we know.
That's fair enough.
I mean,
but there's
That's
one
the
other.
easiest, most direct route.
That's fair enough. There's one other issue I would like to consider. What about the rest of the cult?
Well, again,
Also-
Zone of we could.
Sorry to interrupt, but can someone just clarify with me that Zone of Truth is like it's forced on you to tell the truth, but it doesn't compel your actions,
It
correct?
does not compel you to